Protests continue nationwide in the wake of George Floyd's death, with some protesters calling to defund police departments. This as Congress and the White House are working to introduce legislation on police reform to address the issue. Here to discuss this further is Lacy Johnson, a congressional candidate vying to represent Minnesota's 5th congressional district. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So the Minneapolis City Council is defending their move to move forward with defunding and dismantling the city's police department. On Friday, 18 days after the death of George Floyd, they unanimously passed a resolution to replace the police department with a community-led public safety system. What's your reaction to all of this?
I think it's rash. I think it's reckless. I think very little thought has gone into it. To demonstrate how little thought has gone into it, we have no alternative. They're not proposing any detailed alternative to it. So it's just a reckless situation by a city council that has a lot of leftist type of socialist views and has been waiting to pounce on a moment like this to put some of those things in effect. Now, the great thing about it, we have recently learned that they just can't do it by themselves. They're going to have to put it before the voters. And I'm confident that the voters in Minneapolis are not as reckless. In fact, they are very astute and knowledgeable, and it should not make it through.
And who you're challenging, Ilhan Omar, of course, she represents a 5th district right now. She said that communities will still be safe without cops and is defending the move. Now, let me ask you, congressional lawmakers in the White House, again, they're looking to enact legislation focusing on police reform. What sort of policies would you like to see proposed?
Well, I think things like establishing confidence in the justice system and the prosecution system. I think those are some of the things that we're looking at. I think we need to look at training. There's, as far as the training of the police are concerned, training as far as mental illness, training as far as dealing with different cultures. I think all those increase those type of things. I think more accountability is in order. And sometimes I think the accountability should not just stop at the individual officer. I think the accountability should go up the line where the buck stops at. In the state of Minnesota, the buck stops at the governor's office. But before you get there, you got the mayor and things like that. So I think all those type of accountabilities are important. I think reestablishing trust with the community is important. There got to be some type of organization, whether it's an improved, enhanced police review process or whatever, where a citizen of the community are involved. And I think it's an opportunity for all of us to come together to try to achieve those type of goals and those type of reforms.
And switching gears now, President Trump continues to show his support for your congressional run. How is this elevating your campaign, especially as we inch closer to November?
Well, of course, anytime a president of the United States put focus on you and what you're doing, it will elevate it. And so it has elevated that. But I have to give my campaign staff some credit, too, because they laid the groundwork for me to get to the point where it caught the attention of President Trump in the things that we were doing as far as fundraising, as far as social media presence, as far as winning the Minnesota GOP endorsement with 90% of the vote. So my staff has put in a lot of hard, smart work to get me to this point. And it's just a really, really blessing that President Trump has paid attention and supported what we're trying to do.
And lastly, where can our viewers go to learn more about you and your campaign?
I have a website, Lacy Johnson, L-A-C-Y Johnson, JOHNSON.com. Go out there. You will see information on how to email me. You will see my Twitter account, Facebook account, and other social media. You'll see where I stand on the issue. And I'm always getting feedback from my followers. And I do respond to most of it in a very timely manner. So that's what they can do. Just go out to my website, LacyJohnson.com. And I look forward to them doing that.
Lacy Johnson, thank you so much again for your time and input.
Thank you very much.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One American News on YouTube. And call your cable provider and kindly demand that One American News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.